Yo, what up boys, and welcome to another tier list video. And today, in this video, we are going to be ranking every single operator in Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. So, first off, up here, we got the tiers. We got S tier, peak, and works in all ranks. Next we got A tier, great, and works in higher ranks. B tier, mid, but works in most ranks. C tier, not very good, but works in lower ranks. And then lastly, F tier, no, just no. So first off, we got the OG Recruit. Now, even though Recruit wasn't in ranked, I still did play whenever Recruit was in the game. And honestly, I think OG Recruit was kind of a C tier operator, honestly. I think Striker and Sentry are better versions of this Recruit. The only thing that made this Recruit better was Recruit rushing, and that was it. Next, we got Sledge. And Sledge, honestly, is a fairly good operator now that he got buffed back up to a 2-speed, 2 health. So, honestly, I think Sledge is honestly an A-tier operator. I think he's actually really good now. Next, we got Thatcher, and he's going to be joining Sledge right up there in A-tier. The only thing, actually... Nah, Thatcher's staying in A-tier. His ability is actually really strong. The only thing that's holding him back from S tier is the fact that he's a 1-speed 3 armor. That's the only thing that's holding him back. Next we got Smoke, and I'm not even gonna hold you. We've got our first S tier of the day. Smoke is one of the best defenders in the game. Simply just due to the fact that he could basically block off an entire area for a short period of time. And also, he's got a great loadout. He's got the FMG9, a gun that I love. And he has the shotgun and the SMG11. Plus barbed wire and proximity mines. Proximity alarms. So, honestly, Smoke belongs in S tier. Next, we got Mute, and he's going to be joining Smoke along in S tier. Mute can literally counter damn well near every attacker in the game. It's not even funny. Not to mention, he basically has the same loadout Smoke does, except with C4, and instead of the FMG9, he has the MP5K. Next, we've got Ash, and again, another S tier. Ash has amazing speed, an amazing gun, honestly, her ability's kind of mid. But other than that, I think she belongs in S tier. Next, we got Thermite. And Thermite, I believe, belongs in B tier. I believe Thermite is a B tier operator. He is one of the better hard breachers in the game. He is one of the better hard breachers in the game, but I just don't think he belongs up here with Sledge. Actually, yeah, never mind. We're moving Thermite up to A tier, simply just because Thatcher's up there too. Next, we got Castle, and Castle's going in B tier, because there's two type of Castle players. There's either A, someone who actually knows how to play Castle and knows where to put their Castle barricades, or B, the most brain-dead motherfucker you'll ever meet. So yeah, the B tier. Next we got Pulse, and I believe Pulse is also a B tier operator. And just, yeah, Pulse is good for playing Vert, and other than that, I can't really think of a use for him. Other than playing from below, I can't really think of a use for him. Actually, I think I might add another tier real quick. Alright, I just had to make a change real quick. We have added D tier, and I think Pulse might get moved down to C tier, and Recruit also is getting moved down to D tier. Yeah, I feel like this list is very fair now, as there's a lot more range to spread out the operators. Next, we've got Twitch, and Twitch, I feel like, is a B-tier operator. In my opinion, Twitch's gadget is not very useful anymore, now that... In my opinion, Brava is a better Twitch. The only thing that makes Twitch good is the fucking F2. That's it. That's the only thing Twitch still has going for her at this point. Though her drone does have infinite uses, if you wait long enough. However, I just don't think Twitch's gadget is very good. I just think Brava's better. Okay, next we got Monty. Now Monty's kind of weird to play us on this list, simply just due to the fact he's a shield op. But I do think Monty is either B tier or like low A. You know what? I'm gonna put Monty in the middle of B. Stop trying to type. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna put Monty in the middle of B. Simply just do that. If you get plant down, they're basically, if you know how to play Monty and you get plant down, they're it's basically over for the defenders. Next we've got Doc, and if your teammate knows how to play Doc, he's S tier. However, shout out my boy Swoozy. If they don't know how to play Doc and they only use their stims for themselves, he's like an A tier. But assuming you know how to play Doc and his potential, he's going in S tier. I think, hold on, let me rearrange this S tier a little bit. So yeah, Smoke is like low S tier though. Alright, yeah, I'm feeling... Alright, next we've got Rook. Rook is C tier. Rook is not very good. His gadget gives you 20 extra health, and in what game of Siege have you won a gunfight thanks to Rook's 20 extra health? And it's a very, very low chance you're actually going to get the self-revive off. So yeah, I feel like Rook belongs in C tier. Next we got Glaz, and Glaz is going in D tier. Very, very situational. But when that situation for Glaz does come around, he excels at it. Glaz's gun is very strong, very powerful, and not to mention he has the Bearing 9 as a secondary or the Gon 6. And with smoke combined with smoke grenades with his thermal sight, Glaz can be low-key crazy, but again, very situational. Next we got Fuse, and Fuse belongs in the bottom of C tier. Fuse is I don't know why Fuse is the 3 armor 1 speed. I have no clue, but Fuse is a very loud operator. And he is very loud whenever placing his gadget. So if he places it on like a barricade or a soft wall, it is very easy to wall bang him. Next we got Kapkan, and Okay, next we got Kapkan, and Kapkan honestly is probably... Kapkan is honestly probably like a high A. Simply just due to how powerful his gadget is. Though he did lose his C4, Kapkan is still insanely powerful and is still banned in like 99% of ranked games. Lastly, we got Tachanka, and Tachanka... Yep, Tachanka... I really don't want to do it to him, but at the same time I feel like I have to. Actually, I'll put him at the top of D tier. Simply just due to the fact that he has an LMG that can 2-shot. Other than that, he's terrible. His secondary gadgets, his secondary weapons are not very good. He has barbed wire. No, he has the deployable shield and barbed wire, I think, too. I don't know. But Tachanka's like actual gadget, his Shamika launcher, is so unbearably fucking bad. It's not even funny. So, Ubisoft, year 10, either give Tachanka another rework or give him a buff, please. Next, we've got Blitz. If you know how to play Blitz, he's B tier. If you don't, he's like C tier. But I think I'm going to put Blitz at the bottom of C tier. Simply just due to the fact it's very easy to get shot in your sides, pretty much anywhere that isn't facing forward. Next is IQ. IQ can counter a lot of operators, but her gadget is also kind of underwhelming. So for that, I believe IQ belongs in like C tier. Above Rook and Fuse, but not above Pulse. Next is Jaeger. What a fall from grace this operator had. Jaeger used to be so good, and now he's like rarely ever picked. But I still think Jaeger's gun is good. I still think his ability is good. So I think I'm going to put Jaeger again at the bottom of B tier. Next we got Bandit, and Bandit is like... Bandit is like either top of A tier or like low S tier. Actually, yeah, we're putting Bandit at the bottom of A. We're putting Bandit at the top of A tier simply just because I know there's another operator on this list that does his job arguably better. But yeah, good MP7, good gun, Good. He's got pistol. He's got a pistol secondary. Good secondary gadget. Nitro Cell is always good, and his gadget is also, and his unique gadget is also very good. Next, we've got Buck, S tier. Arguably one of the best operators. No, not arguably. Not arguably. One of the best operators in the game. His skeleton key is he's one of the best vert play operators in the game, and one of the best operators for just opening up soft walls in general. His gun is good gadget. He lost his hard breaches though. F's in chat for that. But other than that, Buck is goated. Frost is C tier. No one's falling for a Frost mat unless they're like below. No one's falling for a Frost mat if they're like above gold. Maybe. Actually, that's being a bit generous. No one's falling for a Frost mat if they're like above like silver, maybe. Blackbeard. Blackbeard with the rework. Blackbeard is like highest of A tier. Blackbeard. Oh, okay. Blackbeard with the rework, he excels, bro. Blackbeard is so good. He can literally hot breach windows, and it's basically silent. He's a shield up with a scar that could run through walls. Need I say more? Next we've got Valkyrie. Valkyrie is also like middle of A tier. Valkyrie is also really good. The ability to place down cameras wherever you need is insane. Plus she has the MPX with C4. Yeah, she's pretty peak. Capitao. Capitao, I believe, belongs toward like the bottom of D tier. Capitao is very situational. His smoke is not very good. His fire isn't very good either. And just Capitao is just an overall very situational operator. Next we got Caveira. This might be a little biased, but I love Caveira. But I think Caveira is really good if you could find a person who knows how to play her. So for that, I feel like Cav belongs in like the middle of B tier. I feel like Cav is very strong if you know how to play her. Next we've got Hibana. Hibana, I think, belongs at the top of C tier. Hibana is, out of the 3 hard breachers that are currently in game, specifically Thermite, Hibana, and Ace, Hibana is easily the worst of those 3. But she's still viable. She has a good gun. It's just her breaching abilities are not very good compared to Thermite and Ace. Next we've got Echo. If you know how to play Echo, he's like A tier. But if you don't, which, I feel like Echo... I feel like Echo is like... I don't know. I feel like Echo's top of B tier. Echo's gun is kind of mid. His second... I don't even think he has a secondary shotgun. The Baron 9 is okay, though. And he does have impact grenades, I know that. But yeah, his gadget can win you his yokais can win you around, granted. But like, I just don't think he's better than these ones up here. Next we got Jackal. Overbanned as hell, bro. No, Jackal does not need to be banned anymore. But Jackal is still very good. I will say Jackal is probably like high A tier. Jackal is still really good. Like, you can literally clear an entire room just by looking into it. It's insane. Next, we got Mira. If you think Mira is anything short of S tier, you're wrong. If they know the correct Mira placements, Mira is goated. Next, we got Ying. Ying is still a hella annoying operator. However, she did get nerfed this season, thank God. So, I do think Ying deserves... As of now, I think she deserves top of B tier. Because even though she is like banned in like 99% of the games. Next we got Lesion. Legion's S tier. Lesion is S tier. Simply just due to the fact that he has arguably one of the most no-skill weapons in the game, the T5. Plus he has a pocket shotgun. He has so many goo mines, and he's like one of the best counters to shield ops. Zofia, again, what a fall from grace this operator had. It's just not Zofia's era. Zofia's era is like long gone. But I still think she's an okay operator. I'm gonna put her in like the middle of C tier. So I still think Zofia is very viable. Like gadget-wise, she's just a better Ashe. But her gun, yeah, it's just her Zofia's era is just over. Next we've got Ela. They've recently brought back roaming with Ela has recently made a resurgence thanks to Ela getting impact grenades. So for that, I do think Ela belongs towards like the top of B tier. I still do think Ela is very good. Dokkaebi is S tier. Dokkaebi is like top of S tier. Like her gadget is basically like 5 gadgets in one. Like Dokkaebi is kind of insane. Plus she has the EBR and the recently nerfed Bosch G. Come on now. Next we got Vigil. If this was made before the update, Vigil would be S tier. However, Bosch G literally got nerfed, so Bosch G is not really as good as it used to be. Vigil is still hella viable though. So I do think Vigil belongs like probably like low A tier now. Actually, nah, he belongs like middle of A tier. Next we got Lion. Lion is nowhere near as good as he used to be. So if you know, like, they have a bunch of teammates that are like a bunch of roamers, Lion is good. But I'm gonna put Lion in. Oh, let me actually rename C. I'm actually gonna change something about C tier's name real quick. Alright, there we go. So, I do think that, now that we changed that, I do think Lion belongs in, like, middle of C tier. He is kind of situational, but I still think, if they don't have a bunch of roamers, I still think you can make a Lion work if you swing off your Lions. Next we have Finka. I don't know why she's the only one that has, like, this white border, but we're not going to talk about it. Finka, if you have a good Finka player, she's aight. But if you have a terrible Finka player who only uses her Finkas for themselves, she's like C tier with Lion. However, I do think Finka belongs right here. Actually, hold on. Let me change Finka's image real quick. Alright. I do think Finka belongs in like the middle of B tier though. Finka I still think is she's an okay operator if you know how to play her. Maestro. Maestro is like probably like bottom of C tier. Maestro is you could get way more use out of a Valkyrie than you could a Maestro. Like, Maestro just has so many counters, it's not even funny. Like, literally all you gotta do, run up to it, punch the glass, boom, the Maestro's done. And that's basically just, boom, Maestro countered. Like, the Gone 6 counters Maestro. Ashe counters Maestro. Zofia counters Maestro. Brava counters Maestro. Like, there are so many operators in the game that counter Maestro, it's just not even funny. Alibi, very situational. I will admit she has an amazing gun. The X4 Storm is incredible. Plus the Bailiff, but it's just her gadget is very, very situational. Like, no one above bronze, maybe, is falling for an Alibi clone. Maverick. If you know how to Maverick trick, he's like A tier. But if you don't, he's like C tier. So we're going to come to a compromise and put him... Actually... I'm going to put Maverick right here, towards like the upper end of C tier. Clash. Okay, this might be my first like really, really hot take. I think Clash is overhated. Like, hear me out. If you know how to play Clash, she is insanely good. That's the... Oh, skateboard, you scared the shit out of me, bro. My fucking kitten just ran over here, crawled up next to my leg. She scared the shit out of me. Yeah, as I was saying, Clash is insanely good. That's the one problem with Clash. that is just no one knows how to play her. So I honestly think Clash belongs on the upper end of C tier. Say what you want. Hey, hate me all you want. I think Clash belongs on the upper end of C tier. Next we got Nomad. Nomad is... Actually, no. Nomad is S tier. Nomad is S tier. The best flank watch operator in the game. She has 2 amazing guns, the ARX and her AK. And she has the iconic sniper pistol, like, come on now. And her ability is so good. She is the best flank watch and one of the best post-plant operators in the game. And remember when I said there was an operator that did Bandit's job arguably better? Yeah, that's Cade. He's going in S tier. Cade's Electro Claws can be placed in spots that not even Thatcher can get. So arguably Cade is just a better bandit. So I think Cade belongs in S tier. Next we got Gridlock. They did her so dirty. If Nomad didn't come the season before, Gridlock would have been way better. But since we got Nomad the season before, Gridlock is like high B. Next we got Mozzie. Literally, Mute is better. Like, Mozzie is just kind of like a worse Mute. So honestly, I think... Okay, so Mozzie is kind of like Mute and Valkyrie mixed in kind of like a weird sort of way. So honestly, but most Mozzies don't even use their drones. So I'm probably going to put Mozzie towards like the back end of C tier. Next we got Nock. I really like Nock. I like both her guns. The FMG9 and Legion shotgun is both very good. Plus, she's the only operator on attack right now with the Deagle. So honestly, and with the recent buff she got, allowing you to like stealth around the map and shit, I think Nock is like towards like the back end of B tier. Next we got Warden. He is going in D tier. Warden is so situational. Like, anyone who plays Warden does not use his gadget. Let's be dead-us now. Anyone who plays Warden does not use their gadget. Next we got Amaru. No. Just no. Need I say more? Amaru is just no. Goyo. Goyo is actually very good. He's like top of A tier. The Vector with an ACOG is amazing. Not to mention his ability, once the Goyos are shot and the fire's everywhere, they stay there for like 2 years. So it's like damn well near impossible for attackers to get into sight if the Goyo fire's down. Kali, no. Need I say more for Kali being a no? Like, Glaz is better. Wamai is like probably top of C tier. Jaeger is better. Arguably, Jaeger is a better Wamai. Next, we've got... I mean, if Wamai still had his ACOG, sure, he would be better than Jaeger. But right now, I think Jaeger's better. Next, we've got Iana. And her removing her flashes was just absolute AIDS. However, the G3 did recently get a buff. So, I do think Iana belongs in, like, the middle of A tier. Next, we've got Oryx. And honestly, after the buff, I think Oryx is actually viable now. I think Oryx is actually good. Like, he's a lot more fun to play than he was before. So I think Oryx belongs towards, like, the back end of B tier. Does he, though? I mean... Yeah, no, I'm going to put Oryx towards, like, the upper end of C tier. Next, we've got Ace. And Ace is S tier. Even though I personally don't like Ace, I think Ace is objectively S tier. He's by far, in ranked, he's the best of the 3 hard breachers. Like, you can literally throw his aces. Like, having a hard breach that you can throw is hype. And it'll just detonate instantly. Like, not to mention you can make walkthrough and vaultable hard breaches. Plus he has the AK-12, one of the best primaries in the game. Melusi. Melusi is honestly A tier. Like, Melusi's gadget is so good. Not to mention when she lost her ACOG, she got a pocket shotty and another Melusi. So Melusi is A tier. But people are playing her too much now. But people actually like to play her. So that means Ubisoft are probably going to nerf her. Next we've got Zero. And Zero is kind of situational. But on the other hand, I do think he belongs in like the lower end of B tier. Next we've got Aruni, and she belongs low A. The fact that you get the EBR on defense, and her Syria gates are the only gadget in the game that can defy hatches that you can't actually reinforce, like hatches on Cafe, hatches in Theater Room on Coastline. She has the EBR and the Roni, two very good secondaries, two very good primaries. The Roni's arguably not very good anymore, but that's up to kind of preference in a weird sort of way. Next we've got Flores. Flores is very situational. Actually, hold on, that's another counter to Maestro right there. I've only now just thought of it. That's another counter to Maestro, is Flores. But Flores' drones are arguably very situational. However, if you know how to play him right, he can be good. If you use his drones to get utility, he can be good. Thunderbird. Thunderbird got a buff. I actually like Thunderbird now. I do think she belongs in the top of C tier. On the other hand, the Spear is not very good. Actually, I think she belongs like 4th. Osa. If you know how to use her, Osa can be good. So I'm going to put Osa like right here in B tier. Next we've got Thorn. An amazing weapon with the shittiest gadget. Thorn is honestly the worst trap operator in the game. And that's because her Thorn traps take so long to detonate to the point where they can just either run away or shoot it and then boom. Thorn countered. Or they can just bring Brava. So honestly, I think Thorn belongs in the bottom of C tier. Azami is A tier. Like, Azami is like top of A tier. Like, even after all of the nerfs Azami got, she's still so good. Like, she's still viable. Need I say more? Need I say more? Sens is so bad. Grim. If we're talking about Grim when he first launched, he's like bottom of F tier. He's terrible. He was terrible whenever he first launched. But now that they kind of reworked him to where now that Grim's actually kind of viable, I think honestly Grim belongs in the top of B tier. Grim is honestly very good. Solus. If this tier list was made like a couple, I think about like a year ago now, she would be like A S tier. But Solus literally got nerfed into the fucking ground. To the point where now, she's like middle of C tier. Brava. Hot take, I think Brava is just a better Twitch. I think Brava is literally just a better Twitch. So I think Brava belongs probably on the lower end of A tier. Fenrir. Fenrir is still S tier. Say what you want about Fenrir. Fenrir is like still top of S tier. Fenrir is still really good, even after the quote-unquote nerf. Even though I don't even think his nerfs were really nerfs. I think they balanced him out. I think what they did to Fenrir was perfect. He's super balanced now. Next we've got Ram, and she's one of the better vert play operators. To where, honestly, I think she's also S tier. I think Ram is also S tier. Because if they go like a basement site, usually either bring Buck or Ram. Tubarão. Tubarão is honestly underrated. Tubarão is actually very good for bandit or hell, even Cade tricking. So honestly, I think Tubarão belongs in A tier. Deimos. If you know how to play Deimos, Deimos is S tier. If you have good aim, Deimos is S tier. He has a strong loadout with the AK and smoke and mute shotgun. Plus he has plus his Vendetta is insanely good. So yeah, if you know how to play Deimos, he's one of the best. He's one of the best counters to roamers. Striker, I honestly think Striker is like. Striker, I honestly think he's like mid B tier. Because Striker, she can bring so much utility to the point where she can basically do both Thatcher and Thermite's job. Because she can just bring both. Because she has a good gun, a pocket shotty, plus she could bring impact EMPs and hard breaches. Sentry. I think Sentry is honestly like back end of A tier. Sentry is really good. Again, an amazing gun with the Commando 9, pocket shotty, plus she can bring both impacts and C4. So Sentry, in my opinion, honestly belongs in A tier, even though he's a recruit. Now, lastly, we come to the final operator. Don't pay attention to this Finka. The final operator, Scopos. Honestly, I think Scopos is like right here in like B tier. Like honestly, Scopos I think is a decent operator. Her ability, she has a lot of counters. I'll give her that. She has a lot of counters. However, she has a good gun, good secondary, plus she has impacts. So yeah, I think Scopos is honestly a fair B tier operator. Okay, so here's the rankings as of now. I'm going to take a minute to see if I want to swap anything around. Okay, so here's the final list that I've rearranged. The top 5 S tiers are Mute, Dokkaebi, Ashe, Fenrir, and Legion. Everyone else up here is good. It's just I think these are the best 5. I think these are the best 5 out of S tier. Next in A tier, as you can see, I moved Smoke down to A tier. I just didn't think he could really compete with everyone else up here. But in top 5 for A tier is Smoke, Blackbeard, Azami, Bandit, and Goyo. Everyone else up here is also also pretty good. Top 5 B tier: Grim, Ying, Gridlock, Scopos, and Striker. Quite the crew we got up here. Though I do think arguably Grim could be moved back a couple spaces. But I do think everyone up here is... I do think everyone in B tier is still fairly good, but just kind of mid. C tier. The top 5 in C tier: Pulse, Wamai, Hibana, Thunderbird, and Clash. Solus was very close to be getting moved up. However, I do think Clash is arguably better than Solus in her current state. Now, everyone in D tier: Tachanka, Recruit, Warden, Alibi, Capitao, and Glaz. Though I will admit, Glaz and Capitao do kind of go hand in hand. And lastly, in F tier, we've got Amaru, Kali, and Sens, where you should never bring these guys ever. So yeah, anyways, boys, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already to make this the best R6 content on the platform, because it's so good. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.